Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the review of the first ever episode of Games People Play. I'm sorry that I am so far behind. I was supposed to do this when it first came out, but I was just deep in my feelings, going through a lot. Still going through a lot, but I am mustering up the courage to get on here and put this video out. And don't mind me, I like stuff that's in black and white. When I did photography in this magnet school I was in, I always liked when stuff was in black and white. So sometimes y'all see, I'll do videos in black and white. But anyway, here we go. So the show starts off with a 911 phone call recording where you can hear a scuffle, fight, all that stuff. Like, stuff is like literally being broken. You can tell somebody is getting like beat all around the room. It's a woman's voice, clearly you can hear. Like, there is a fight. And so they have Lauren London's character, which her name is Vanessa King, and her husband, who, if you watch Insecure, the guy who plays Dro, on this show, his name is Marcus King. He is a superstar basketball player who has gotten traded. And I'll get into that in a few minutes. But anyway, they're playing this recording because they are, being investigated for the disappearance of this woman. And, they are like, oh, well, we don't know what you're talking about. I don't know who could have broken into my hotel room. Meanwhile, the situation that's actually happening is he is cheating on his wife as usual. This is something that's very normal for her to experience with him. And she just allows it to continue to happen. And I don't understand, because the way that her character is set up, you would think that she would be the type to like get tired and be like, I'm done. But, they have her playing this kind of a soft, like motherly, she's a mother, they have a kid together, and she's just wondering why he won't stop, and she feels as though she should be enough. But anyway, y'all, they're questioning them. This is one thing that I don't like. I'm sorry to the actress / comedian, but I don't understand why they put you in this role. They have this woman who I've always known to be a comedian. And whenever she is in a TV show or in a movie, she plays a comedic role. Well, in this show, they have her as like a lead investigator. She's a police officer, and she was in that interrogation room discussing, the details of what they found so far as the 911 call. I guess it was a 911 phone call. Yeah, it was a 911 phone call. And they have her talk, and I'm just like, why do y'all have her on here playing this cop? She talks really, really slow, and it's just that specific character is not for her. And like I keep saying, I really do like her as a regular actress in reference to the comedic roles that people have placed her in years ago. And whenever they do put her in stuff, it's always a comedic role, nothing like this. So I'm very confused as to why they put her in this as a police officer. But anyway, I digress. I'm just saying that I just didn't understand why they put her in that role. But anyway, they had her questioning them. And, one of the things they wanted to know was if they knew what the reason would be that somebody would break into his room. And, they eventually did the real situation, which was the wife came in the room, saw what was going down. Like, he was in mid-stroke and she was in mid-riding position or whatever was going on. They were in the middle of having sex, and the wife popped up in there and started beating the girl down. So, she was talking about do you know what could have motivated the attack? He's saying no. Like, he's really acting oblivious to what has happened. Because at this point, the woman is missing. Nobody knows where she is. Nobody's heard from her or whatever. And they would question her, and she would act oblivious to what's going on. At one point in time, they asked her, well, where were you when all this went on? And she said, oh, I was at home. And they were like, do you have anybody that can confirm that? And she looked at him and he was like, yeah, she was at home. And so they were like, well, you do know that we are pulling the video footage from the hotel. And, Vanessa was like, can we go or whatever? And so she ended up leaving. And, she looked at her husband when they mentioned that video footage, because you can clearly see that she was there. Cameras are everywhere, and more than likely she was picked up on one of the cameras. So she looked at her husband. He kind of looked at her like, you ain't got to worry about that. You can go on and go, without really saying anything to her, just that eye contact. So went on ahead, was about to leave. At one point in time, before she did get up to leave, they asked her, where did she get the scratch on her neck from? And that was from when the girl was fighting her. She scratched her neck. And so she made up a lie talking about they have a cat. And so they were like, you have a cat? He was like, yeah, we have a cat. And I was just like, you couldn't have said that y'all was having sex and it gets rough sometimes or something, or your baby scratched you. Like, she has a baby. Like, she has a child. That's one. A lot of people that I know, especially when I was a baby, my mama said that she had to stay cutting my nails because my nails were long, and I would end up cutting somebody, scratching somebody, because that's what a lot of babies do. She could have easily said that, oh my baby, I forgot what the little child's name is already, but anyway, she could have been like, oh my baby, whatever, scratched my neck. She's however old, and that would have made sense. Like, it didn't even make no sense. Oh, the cat did it. We got a cat. What you talking about? So anyway, she ended up getting up to leave out of the room, and she had on like this white cardigan or sweater or whatever it was. And she leaves, and you see this blood coming through her sleeve on like her elbow or the back of her arm. And she was like, the police officer was like, well, you need to, take care of that. And so she was like, okay, I will. And I was just like, so then the next thing come on with who I like to call Best Friend. Now, if you are not familiar with Best Friend, his name is Kendall. When I first saw him on social media, I don't know how long ago, he popped up in my news feed. And what he does is he will watch Love and Hip Hop and little random shows like that. And he will read the scenes, whether it's the wig that they have on or the things that are being said. And it's just how he reacts and what he says. He is hilarious. But I think he does like celebrity styling and all that stuff. I think he does hair and stuff too, because he mentions kaleidoscope hair drops a lot too. So yeah, he be reading their wigs. Them wigs do be towed down. I'd be like, why? You could have had me to make you a wig and it would have looked better than that mess you slapped on your head. But anyway, y'all, he's in it. I'm so happy for him. He is everything. But anyway, he is in it, and he is he meets he's at the outside of this club, right? And I didn't want to even mention this. Now, it don't really matter, but the scene before this was this woman who we later on find out her name is Nia. She has a boyfriend who's into IT. He's a nerdy guy. But if you look at her, you'd be like, I wouldn't think she would be with someone like him. But I don't know. Opposites attract sometimes. So anyway, they had just finished having sex. And then they keep making a point to show this, not even an infomercial. It's like a segment of this guy who's his pastor where he's doing his little spiel. And, they literally just finished having sex, and then she's looking at that while she's about to be on the way out the door. And I'm like, girl. But anyway, I was like, what are they talking about? It kind of led me to believe that she was a prostitute and, or a woman of porn, the way that they were talking at first, because there are a lot of people who are in the porn industry who have husbands and wives, and they go and they be with all these other people, and their significant other is okay with that. So that's what I was thinking was happening at first. But what happened was she was leaving him to go meet up with Kendall, which I think his name on here or his initials are MJ. she went and met him at this club, and so they're going to the club, and I'm like, she left her man to go to the club with this guy. Okay, I'm confused. And so he's like partners with her assistant or whatever. Like, I don't know. They work together. Anyway, she's dressed provocatively, and I'm like, what is going on? So they get on the inside of the club, and you could tell that this is some, what they call it, BDSM type of stuff going down. Everybody is dressed apart. So I was like, okay, what is we doing up in here? So they're walking through, and, you know, it gets to a point where he was like, you know, I ain't never been past this point. And so he's going further and further back. You start to see why they're going back there. And it is because the pastor is in one of the rooms that's like basically wide open for anybody to see. And he is on the floor on all fours with a collar around his neck. And somebody has him on a chain like he's a dog or something. Like it was some freak fetish type of sex thing that was going on. And he literally would get on the TV and be preaching about homosexuality and how everything is terrible. Meanwhile, he got a whole wife and kids at the house, and he up and down. What is you talking about? Don't know about him now. You talking about. So what she did was, this was the funny part. When she was getting wanded in order to go in, you know, something went off when they got to her midsection. And so she was like, dang, can't nobody wear a tampon no more? So, you know, the dude, you know, the bouncer was like, just going on. So she ended up putting, I don't think I have anything. She ended up putting this camera up her vagina. Dang it, I thought I had something that I would have been able to kind of simulate how, like it was like if you imagine this part was square, this whole part was the same size as this biggest part right here. It was square. And she had it and she put it up her vagina and she somehow got it out without anybody seeing it, with dancing and all that. But she snuck it in because it had a camera. It was a camera, and she was going to take all kinds of pictures of him. So she made it seem like she was dancing with the guy, MJ. And right there, she was taking all these pictures of the pastor getting his entire life on the floor on all fours doing the most. And he got a whole wife and children at the house. I was tired. So anyway, caught him in all these freaky sex acts. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So I didn't know what all that was about, but we'll find out later on. So anyway, I don't remember if I said her name earlier, Vanessa. Marcus and Vanessa. So Vanessa King is at home. That's Lauren London's character. She is at home painting her daughter's room, and her husband walks in, and, you know, eventually I think he brings up the fact that his friend Kareem, now Kareem, he is the guy, I think they call him Squire in ATL. Y'all know that guy. Like that, if you were to think of any movies or TV shows he's ever been in, that's probably the first thing that'll come to your mind. Even though he's been in other things, that's just the first thing that came to my mind. But yeah, he's playing his friend. He's a friend of his, and they end up. I'll get to it. It's more complicated than what it seems. There's a lot going on. So anyway, apparently wherever Marcus goes, that friend follows him. Like he could be in a whole other state, and he will follow Marcus there. And it's like, really, sir? You ain't got nothing else to do with your life except follow this guy everywhere? What is that about? Like, I don't get it. So anyway. Apparently Vanessa ain't really here for him like that. I don't know why, but I guess she just feels like he's too clingy. Maybe that's what it is. So anyway, he came to the house and greeted their child, and, you know, he, you know, had a gun, and he was just like, you know, here we go. Here's the gun. And so, of course, Vanessa ain't here for it. It's like, we have a child. We don't need no gun in this house. And he was like, we do have a daughter, and that's why we're going to have this gun in this house. And so he asked her if she wanted to know what the lock combination was going to be, or be a part of what it's going to be in general. And she was like, look, I don't want nothing to do with that at all, because I don't even want this in this house. So anyway, there is a casting call somewhere, and there's a lobby full of girls. So this one girl walks in. She's camouflaged down, y'all. I live for certain kind of camo. She had the kind of camo I like on camouflage that I love. And she has on these sunglasses. And I'm like, why she got all this on? What's going on with that? So she ends up signing in and saying who she is. Then she picks something up off the this desk and goes into the bathroom. I forgot to rewind it because I meant to rewind to see what it was. Y'all tell me down in the comment section what that was because I don't know what it was. But anyway, she emerged from the bathroom looking like a completely different person. I mean, her hair was down. I mean, she just really like a whole nother person to the point of where the person who was up front checking everybody in told her, excuse me, ma'am, you got to check in, blah, 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 all this other stuff. She was like, oh, I already did that. It's up under Laura. Dang it, what is her name? I was about to say Lori, but that ain't who I was supposed to say. What is her name? Layla. And so she was like, oh, okay then. So, you know, she's thinking she has a chance. Tell me why Lori Harvey walks in, you know, playing herself, Steve Harvey's daughter, if I'm not mistaken. She walks in and of course she bypasses everybody and goes straight back to the back while everybody else is sitting out in the lobby waiting to be seen. So once they see her, everybody's just like, yeah, all right, so it's time to go by. So everybody in their feelings, and the girl who came out there, she in her feelings because she's trying to boost her followers and get out there so that she can be seen, so that she can get steady work, I'm guessing. So this woman approaches her. I guess her name is Roxanne. She approaches her and she seemed like she was a pimp just a little bit. I was just like, what's going on here? What you trying to do? Recruit girls? And, you know, she kept complimenting her. And eventually she asked her, you know, if she wanted to meet up and have lunch. And, you know, at first the girl was like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about. And then she was like, you know, who turns down free lunch? So she thought about that because she seems to be a struggling actor / model. So she went on here, took her number, went on about her business. And I was like, you better take that because you don't know when you're going to eat. The way she acting, she ain't really got it like that. So I was like, you better take that woman's number and see what she want. At least get you a free meal out of the deal. So I don't blame you. So anyway, Nia gets called into work. Somebody texted her and she was with her, she was bayed up with her IT nerd boo. And, you know, she ended up leaking the pictures, releasing this story. Now, she's supposed to go through the proper channels to get everything approved and all that. She went through a lot to make sure that she wasn't found out as far as the one who released the pictures this time. I don't know how, but her man encrypted the pictures so that as far as just in general, unless she wants it to be known, no one will know that she's the one who leaked the pictures. So she gets these text messages from this woman who she worked under, who taught her everything she knows. And so she was like, you know, I need to see you first thing in the morning, and kept reiterating that. So she went to work the next day and, you know, whoever is over her Skyped in or whatever you want to call it, video chatted in and was like, you know, hey, how you doing? I'm this person. Y'all know the black lady. I think she's on what is it called? What Edition? Something Edition. Y'all know that TV show that I'm talking about. But I don't know why I can't think of her name, but she's playing her boss or over her boss. And so she's talking to her, and it gets to the point where she was like, you know, you leaked these pictures. And so she's thinking she about to get fired or she about to get, you know, suspended or something. She's thinking something negative is about to happen, but she ends up getting offered this editorial deal where she can be an editor somewhere. And so she ended up taking the deal. And it's funny because the woman ended up reading the woman who she worked under that actually was there in the flesh. And she was like, well, you were about to fire her. And so I was like, oh my gosh, you had to read her in front of her. So anyway, everything happened the way it was supposed to happen with the pastor. And he got found out, everything got leaked. And they had all these cameras all around him as he was on his way to a vehicle that was going to whisk him away to a sex addiction rehab facility. Go somewhere and sit down. So anyway, he made this little statement, and then he let the window up and was like, he about to find the person who did this and they're gonna pay and all this other stuff. And I was like, anything to cover up what you doing wrong, whatever. So anyway, Marcus is at this press conference where he is about to make an announcement, and they introduce him because he just got traded there. So that's why he's there. So he's talking and, you know, making this speech. They calling him the king of LA and all this other stuff. And then this one reporter says, well, was the reason that you moved and all that because of your affair with this woman? And this is the woman, this name came up again, who was missing. And so everybody started going crazy. There was a media frenzy. And I was like, Lord, y'all doing the most. So then later on, he got questioned again by this random cop who was a fan of his. And he was like, you know, this is just an interview I had to do. I have to do this. And so they asked when was the last time they saw the woman. And he's told him the last time he saw her. The wife, Vanessa, said she has never met her, which, you know, was a lie because she beat her down. And so they ended up signing stuff stating that they did have the interview. And then he ended up being a continued fanboy and took pictures with him like crazy. So Nia ended up meeting up with the woman who she was video chatting with. And, you know, she had the honor of meeting her. She was happy to meet her. She felt amazing about it. And she was like, oh my gosh, your office is so nice. And she was like, oh, this isn't my office. Ended up giving Nia this nice, spacious office. And apparently she didn't know or understand, or at least she doesn't understand yet, that there is going to be a lot of possible blowback from the story that she leaked. And the guy, MJ, you know, best friend Kendall, he was trying to say to her, like, you heard her, right? You know, and so she kind of ignored it because she's just so overwhelmed with all of the other things that are happening. She has an office. She's an editor. You know, she's offered this job. All this stuff is just falling in her lap. So she ain't trying to hear none of that right now. She ain't trying to hear nothing negative, and I don't blame her. So Nia and her IT boyfriend are going to be away from one another because wherever the job is not in the same place. I forgot where it was. It's in the same state, but it's somewhere else. So anyway, they are on their laptops and they are doing some remote stimulation. And I was like, remote stimulation? Apparently, since he is so nerdy and into IT so heavy, there's something that it's kind of the same difference as those Kegel balls and other things, other devices that women can hook up and put in themselves that the man can control with a remote. It's kind of similar to that, except some kind of way they control it with the laptops, I think. I don't know. But they were doing stuff to one another, and she wasn't ready. Like, he did something and had her about ready to spasm up off the bed, and then and then she ended up doing the same thing to him as payback. But yeah, they were enjoying themselves. I was like, oh my gosh, y'all doing the most on this show. So, of course, Marcus is still cheating. He actually ends up sleeping with the girl Layla. Well, little does he know that she has things that she needs to do. She wants to get all these followers. She wants all of her numbers to rise. She doesn't feel as though she is getting the notoriety that she deserves. So she's willing to let this scandal go where it's going to go and get whatever publicity that she can get so she can get her name out there. So what she's doing is she slept with him, and while he was asleep, like, how dumb are you? You over here cheating, and then you done fell asleep butt naked wherever, in the hotel room or wherever the heifer at, and just all out there exposed. You dumb. So anyway, she's sat up there and took pictures of several of his body parts that if you were with him, married or not, and you know him or you've been with him and you know his body parts, you are going to recognize that it's him. So she has been slowly releasing various body parts. She didn't release pictures of his booty and all this other stuff. I'm just tired, y'all. So Vanessa, you know, I guess the next day or sometime after that has happened, she at the house and he in the shower. And before that even happened, he was like at the facilities training with like other people on his team, and they were working out, and everybody's phone started going off. The TV had all kinds of stuff on it. Well, not really, not the TV, not yet. So anyway, everybody's phones, all their little devices and stuff were going off because body parts are going viral of him from her. And she has this name, some kind of golden goddess, something or whatever like that. And, you know, she is, you know, basically threatening to expose who the person is for views, clicks, all that good stuff, all this clout that she's desperately seeking. And during one of his "I'm sorry for cheating on you" day in and day out tours, you know, she mentioned that she felt like that was his booty, and it was, of course, but he's over here trying to deny it. And he sat up there, had sex with his wife, and I was just like, girl, you are that gullible that he sat up here. You know your man. You know that that's his body. But you gonna sit up here and be like, well, maybe he telling the truth. Maybe on the inside, I want to believe that he telling the truth. I don't understand. I'm confused. So anyway, this is something this is another thing I don't like. A lot of y'all might not agree with me on this, but I can't do it. I'm tired. I've realized, and I've seen in this show and in real life over the past like 10 to 15 years, people who do this, and it irks my soul because most of the time it's not genuine. It's forced, and I can't do it. They keep calling each other king and queen and all this other stuff. And it's like, that was their little thing that they do where he kind of tries to make her seem like she really is this special person to him. And she, you know, even though she feels how she feels about him, because she's being faithful, at least at this point, you know, she calls him my king and he calls her my queen and all this other stuff. I cannot, like, I don't know what it is. It just irks my soul. Most of the time when I've had guys to call me queen, it's been because they were trying to prove a point and they were mad because my point was valid and on a level that they didn't think that I would respond to or whatever, or they were trying to be fake deep. Like, I'm just like, stop. So for me, like, most of the time it's been fake. So I can't. That's just it. To me, it's almost on the same level as these women who say husband. I just can't. It get on my nerves. I'm sorry, y'all. I just had to throw that in there. But anyway, so like I was saying earlier, let me get back on track. So Vanessa is at the house like sometime after he ended up sleeping with Layla, and he's taking this shower and he know he wrong, so he lingering in there a whole long time. And, you know, she went and peeked in there like, really? He taking, you know, she looking at him like, you don't get out this shower. So anyway, he's taking his precious time in the shower, doing the least. And, you know, he finally gets out. And so she kind of trying to play it off like she always does, like a dummy. And she was like, you know, she was like, okay, are you ready to go? Apparently they were supposed to go out with her line sister, who is Nia, to meet her. He was finally gonna meet her, and she got a sitter and all this other stuff. And he was like, oh no, I can't do it. I gotta hang out with my homeboy. And so she was like, you just hung out with him like 2 days ago and all that. And I'm like, Lord, you don't, whatever. So she knows he's probably cheating again. So what she did was she called Nia and was like, look, girl, he might be at it again. So I'm sorry that I can't meet up with you today, but I gotta go see what it leads. So she ended up putting the address to some hotel that his friend Kareem is at. I guess I don't know if her plan was to post up in his room or to see if they were actually gonna meet up or what, but she went, and I guess because she is the wife, I'm pretty sure her husband had to have had the room under his name for her to conveniently have a key to the room. I'm thinking she went to the front desk and was like, I'm Mrs. King, whatever, and got a key. Because she went and put a key in the door. And so when she opened the door, oh, well, hold on. Before I y'all, I done skipped all ahead. I'm so excited a little bit. But anyway, oh, no, I didn't. I thought I did. But anyway, I'm thinking about something else. So anyway, she done put the key in the door, and before she can get in the room, can't turn the light on or nothing, somebody that came in the room and rolled all the way up on her, and then they end up getting into a scuffle, and he punched her, and she like beats him down. And y'all, I ain't got time. So they ended up, she went home. Eventually she got home, and her husband knew that it had something to do with some shady stuff going on with his friend Kareem. And I was just like, I don't know about to have time. So anyway, he tried to ask her, like, why was she even going to the hotel anyway? And she was like, you know why I was going there. Like, that's sad that you know you cheating, and she know you cheating, and so you want to sit up here and try to play like you don't know why she there, and she looking at you like, you know why I'm here. So anyway, then she brought up the fact that girl keeps posting pictures, like I said, and all that. And like I was saying before, they had sex. The sex must be good, because she just be acting like it just, like he can do no wrong, even though he do wrong every single day of the, y'all, I can't do it. Especially when I give y'all the part 2, y'all, I cannot with him. He irks my soul on here just as bad as he irked my soul on Insecure. I cannot with him. Like, I feel like they casted him for this role because they was like, just play the exact same person you played when you were on Issa Rae's show. Play the same exact stupid cheating guy. Play the same guy. Like, I cannot with him. He irks my soul. So anyway, so Vanessa, in an effort to kind of make up for not spending that time that she promised that she was gonna meet up with her friend Nia with, she had this massage day set up. So they ended up having girl talk, and then another picture came through, and it was of his back. And she knew it was definitely him for sure, because that day when she had sex with him, she did something where she put like her nails in his back to the point of where the way she did it when he was at the facility, the person who does the physical therapy on the athletes, he had him to turn over, and he was like, oh, did you have a good night or a bad night or something like that? Like, he could even tell, because she did the absolute most on his back. So when that girl took that picture, it was around that same time, and he still had that mark on his back, and he light skinned, like he yellow. So that mark was still there. So she knew for a fact that he had been there, had been doing the most. So I was like, Lord. So picture came through to her phone. She got upset. And so her friend was looking like, okay, what's wrong? Because she had literally, like, she got so upset. She was in the middle of talking. The message came through. She got upset, and she got up and walked off and went, a couple of steps went outside to just compose herself. So her friend turned the phone over, looked over at it, and she knew what it was. So she was like, Lord. So anyway, she ended up running, and she ran into this guy who she went to law school with. She didn't finish law school. She has a year left. This guy, he finished, did everything he needed to do. Like, he's in a great position now. And, they were trying to, catch up a little bit. You could see he gonna be like a love interest or something like that. But whatever for right now. And so, he was cordial and all that, and they exchanged numbers. So, of course, because Nia is who she is, her boss wants her to break the story of that girl, wants her to interview that girl, because that's the trending topic right now. That's really what's hot out here in these streets. And so she was like, look, I need you to break this story. She doesn't know her connection to Vanessa or whatever, but she's in her feelings because she's like, this is my line sister. I don't want to do this to her. I know she's going through it with him, and she loves him and wants to be with him for some reason, but I don't want to mess nothing up for her. So we gonna see what happens. So anyway, I hope y'all